Now the classical Nimzo-Larsen opening, that is b3, bishop b2 and e3, is a very popular opening amongst all level of chess, and that is why it is very important for you to have a good repertoire against it. Well, in my past I have created a mainline repertoire starting with e5. However, in today's lecture I am going to propose a very special line which not only contains some cool tricks, but overall Black's opening idea is very easy to remember and fun to play over the board. So after the move b3, my proposal here is you already play this surprising move c5, and I must tell you that I have gone through many repertoire of the b3 and many authors has not taken this move seriously, and some of them already skipped it. So I think already at this point you surprised your opponent. And the big point is, after the move bishop to b2, we want to play the Botvinnik structure starting with knight to c6, where as I have highlighted over here, if white doesn't counter in the center, this is the overall plan from the black side. In case if you get confused, let me show you a complete piece layout of the black, where the most important part is, look at this bishop, it has been completely locked up and black has multiple wings to create his attack, so he can play the move f5 and goes for the kingside attack, or else he can play rook to b8 and start going on the queen side. More about these structures I have covered in my universal chess opening against all Sicilians, so you definitely don't want to miss out. Okay, so without the further ado, let's get started. After bishop to b2, we are going to play knight to c6. And in this video, I am only going to consider the classical Larsen opening that start with e3, whereupon we are going to respond with e5. So you can easily see now we have put the block row to this dark square bishop, and accordingly, as per the database, these are the two popular choices from the white. The first choice I want to consider is knight to f3, attacking on e5, and if you know the Botvinnik very well, then you can easily churn out the next move. Yup, d6 supporting the e pawn. Now I can't believe how many people has fallen for the move d4. As you can see from the database, there are roughly 10,000 games goes into this direction, where I'm afraid black instantly get a winning position. Here the tricky platforms start with c captures d4, and after e captures d4, the key move e4 sets up some huge problem for the white. Well, white can already go wrong if he choose the move d5 here, which is again played in roughly 1200 games, whereupon now black is clearly winning. How? You definitely want to pause the video and find it by yourself. I am showing you right now. The big tactical point is, after pawn takes knight, pawn takes c6. Now black has the control of the e2 square. That means this check is very lethal, and sadly enough white has to move the king on the d2 square, whereupon the fun doesn't end here, guys, as we can win the piece. Yup, you got it right. Pawn takes g2, bishop takes g2, and now this lovely check finished the game on the spot. So this trick is more common in this line, so you do better watch out for it. Okay, the majority of the games continue with knight f to d2, attacking on e4, whereupon black reveals his idea. Now he played the move d5 and completely locked down this poor bishop. And in order to free up, white has to react very quickly in the center, and that's why the main line goes as follows. c4, trying to undermine. Black plays knight to f6. If c captures d5, then queen captures d5 really helps the black. So accordingly, the best response here is knight to c3. White has a simple point that you can't take on d4 as knight captures d5 is extremely strong. But instead of all this, black has a very nice and a strong move in this position, namely bishop to b4. And after this, however white wriggles, it is black who is coming out on top. For example, if we go with the most famous choice, c captures d5, then after the following sequence, bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, and now knight captures d5 create some huge problem for the white. Well, the first thing first, here white cannot take on e4. The simple reason is this knight is an overload piece, and the way we can exploit it is by playing castle on the king side, where black has a very simple idea, that is rook to e8 and then take this knight, something which white cannot avoid it. So for example, a simple line can go like this: bishop to b2, rook to e8, f3 and f5 wins the piece. So that means white has to be very careful and he cannot simply take the pawn here. Well, the most accurate response is bishop to b2. But after this, black simply castle on the king side. And I can't believe bishop to e2, bishop to c4 are the most popular choices, but I'm afraid they cannot hold the ground for the white. For example, one of my recent game, my opponent chose the most popular choice, bishop to c4, trying to castle on the king side. I played knight to f4, attacking on g2. But after white castle, just pay attention guys and look at the tactical ideas black can generate from this position. Next move, can you guess it? Well, I didn't find it when the first time I see it. You are a genius if you see the move b5. What a move! And the point is, now if white foolishly take this pawn, then after queen to g5, he has a double attack and at least he is winning the piece. So nope, after b5, white can't take that pawn. That means this bishop has to sadly retrieve back to e2, whereupon black unleashed the kraken. Congratulations if you see the move bishop to h3. Well, after this, white position is completely collapsing. The g2 is hanging, and if he take it, then the following continuation completely gives black an upper hand. Queen to g5, bishop to g4, f5, king to h1, pawn takes, queen takes, and queen to d5. Just look at black's position. He has multiple threats. Number 1, e3, a discover check. Number 2, there is a double attack on d4. Number 3, very easy attacking scheme, the rook swinger, and altogether white is completely losing from this. So you can see how dangerous these lines are, and even though white followed the main line for a while, the end result shows that it is black who completely dictate the game from the opening stage. The second move I want to consider is bishop to b5. So idea is very simple. white wants to take the knight and then lash out with d4, we are going to respond with a true Botvinnik style, knight g to e7. Well, now d4 is completely out of the equation, as black has this lethal check which finished the game on the spot, as knight to c3 doesn't hold the ground, because after pawn takes and the move c captures d4, the end result, black coming out as a piece advantage at just 8th move of the game. So nope, white still cannot play the move d4 after knight e7. So he wants to continue with knight to f3, hoping that if black plays the move d6, then d4 is indeed a strong reply due to the spin knight. Well, I completely agree with that, but black has an equally nice reply here, namely f6, and this sets up another tricky platform, as now if white doesn't go for d4, then we are definitely looking at the move d5, so white has to go for it. But after the following sequence, queen to a5 check, knight to c3, pawn takes d4, e takes d4, and now the star move knight to d5 gives black a complete opening advantage. There is a small trap here, guys, that if your opponent continue with queen to d2 trying to protect the knight, well, guess what? Bishop to b4 and white indeed losing the piece. So nope, queen to d2 is right out of the equation. The only accurate sequence start with bishop takes c6, but even after this, at the end, it is black who dominate the position. Here black should start with b captures c6, and white's tactical idea is he wants to castle so that when black get the piece, he can pin down this piece and regain it back. Okay, no issues. First, we are going to hit this knight with e4, and after bishop captures c3, the queen can slide across on f5 square to defend the e4 pawn. After queen to e3 and d5, just look at this position, guys. Not only black obtain a wonderful center, but he has also a bishop pair, and when he managed to castle, even though the material is equal, if you turn on the engine here, it already gives black a huge advantage, which how often you get from any other lines. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoy and learn this high profile tricky line against the Larsen opening. Remember, after the move bishop to b2, we want to play Botvinnik structure starting with knight to c6. And as I have shown in this video, after e3 and e5, it doesn't matter however white plays. Both the choices gives black an opening advantage and a fun position to play, something which you definitely want to consider in the tournament practice. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, subscribe and comment, and I will meet you in my next episode very soon. Bye and take care.